The Oilers won't be picking until the second round, and the darts I kind of want to see them throw are on skilled wingers. I just think that's the spot where
Hmm.
like you can get someone, elevate them, not quickly, but maybe a little bit faster than another position, and they could make an impact next to a McDavid or Draisaitl. When the Oilers step up in the second round, what do they pick in? Like
56, I think it
56?
is.
At 56, any like skilled wingers that you really like in that range, or anyone that in general maybe you think has a chance of being a bit of a hidden gem late in the second round?
The one I'd be looking at is Jaden Perron, the Chicago Steel player, one of the smaller guys in the draft, 5'8", but he's just so smart. One of the best playmakers in the draft. Uh, you know, like I asked someone to compare him to another player, and they're like, "No, we'll just compare him to Jimmy Neutron." Like just the guy's like a genius in the way he plays the puck. I'm like, all right, this is one of my favorite scouts because he compares like speedy prospects to like different F1 cars. So that's always fun. But with him, it's just just he's again just so smart, great playmaker. He was getting to play with some talented players, including Macklin Celebrini, who is the top prospect for next year. So he can play with quality guys. But the one I would be looking at there too is how would you be willing if the Oilers took a decent goalie?
I just feel like Skinner's going to be your guy
Hmm.
for the next handful of years. You got Rodrigue playing behind him.
Fanti, they got that other guy last year too. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, I don't think you can never have too many goalies in the system. Who are you thinking?
I'm thinking Adam Gajan, the goalie from Slovakia at the summer or the Winter World Juniors, and he's a guy that some scouts think could be a first round pick. I
Wow.
disagree, but if he's around there, that 56 pick, it's like he's 6'3", I think. He's big. He's just got so much momentum. He's improved his play so much that the sky's the limit for him. That he could be just this huge boom goaltender for them in the draft. So I would say, if he's available, he'd be someone I think the team definitely has to look at. Again, you can't go wrong with having too many goalies. What if Stuart Skinner turns into playoff Stuart Skinner again next year, like all year long, and then you still got Jack Campbell not really being the answer, and you don't know what you're doing. So it doesn't hurt to have a guy like that in the system long term.
Don't say stuff like that. Anyways, then what do you have next?
uh, there's a defenseman I like kind of, and I think he's around the range you others could be picking. Like, what do you think of a guy like Caden Price? He seems like someone since the Halinka has just really risen his stock too, but no one really talks about him as much. Do you think he's someone in that range the Oilers could take?
Yes, I do. I think he's going to be kind of like a late second round pick there. I liked him at the under 18s. I thought he was a very good playmaker, one of the better puck movers down the ice, very mobile. Depends on kind of like I feel like he's almost better when he doesn't play a ton in a game, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Like he was a big minute muncher for Kelowna, but I felt some of his best hockey was with Canada, where he was like, sometimes playing 14, 15 minutes a night. So I think that he's a guy that, I sometimes question his defensive play, which is never a good thing for a defenseman. And that's becoming kind of a theme with this year's draft with the blue liners. You're going to get a lot of skill, but not a lot of guys who are actually really good in their own zone. With Price, I feel like, the ceiling is not super high, but could maybe be a decent second, third pairing defenseman. So yeah, I'd say that's a guy that they could definitely target for there.
Anyone else you want to ask him about?
Everyone, to be honest,
Well,
but this guy isn't going to fall to the Oilers, but I love Zach Benson, and I believe you also love Zach Benson. Like, what do you think of him, and like, where do you think you could go? It feels like he could even go as high as 5. I think.
I feel like there's some belief that he could fall a little bit. I was thinking number 5 for a while, just the way Will Smith kind of finished his season. I'm like, I have a hard time putting him there. But he's just so skilled, so competitive. Definitely not fall into number 56, that's for sure. But he's a guy that will become a fan favorite, just the way he works and the way he'll always
Mm.
fight for pucks. And there are points when he's not scoring, where he's maybe not great defensively. Maybe not the highest speed skater I've ever seen, but I think then he's got enough of that skill, enough of those smarts, and enough of the competitiveness that he's someone where if he was taking a fifth, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's a surprise for the Montreal Canadiens. I'd say, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense.